We're 1 week down in the 10 days of Paris swimming competition at Paris 2024. 141 medal events over the 10 days to be contested. 6 open relays among the events. Over 600 athletes competing. Welcome to the Paris Stade de France arena in Nanterre for this preliminary session on day 8 of the Paris swimming competition of Paris 2024. Grand venue featuring a very fine pool, 50 meters long. 8 of these lanes will be used in competition for heats that will take place this session. It's a preliminary session where swimmers will be aiming to finish among the top 8 fastest across the heats in order to qualify for the evening finals. This is power swimming, where swimmers are classified by their impairment in either physical, intellectual or visual impairments.
The referee for the men's event.
Well, the officials are making their way out onto the pool deck and are being introduced to those in the venue. Ahead of day 8's preliminaries, Great Britain remain top of the medal standings through 7 days of competition with their 14 golds and 23 total medals. People's Republic of China have secured 13 golds in their 31 medals. Italy have 11 gold. Ukraine have the greatest number of medals, though, 32. They lie 4th with 7 golds, ahead of USA, Brazil and Australia. But 22 countries have won at least 1 gold and 33 have claimed at least 1 medal during the first week of competition. There are 3 remaining days. Several medals up for grabs. This session, though, is about qualifying for the finals in this preliminary session on day 8. There are 26 heats and 13 events. The 8 fastest swimmers looking to advance to the final. Multiple Paralympic Games medalist Deb Gruen is alongside for this session. And Deb, plenty standout events on the program, but what sticks out most notably for you?
So there's 2 French swimmers swimming today. Chardar in the 100 freestyle men's S6 and Didier in the men's 200 IM SM9. So the crowd during finals is going to go crazy. But the other really great one to watch is Ali Truitt from the United States, who's going to be swimming in one of her best events, the 400 freestyle women's S10. I can't wait to watch that one.
Certainly are some highlights on the program today. You are going to see a few stars in action as well. And somebody who's having a standout performance at his Paralympic Games debut, Guo Jincheng of China, will also go in the men's 50 free S5. We've got a few sprints for you to enjoy, as well as the women's 50-meter freestyle S8, which will be a little later in the program. Alice Tai, the world record holder, will go against a few more favorites. She hasn't been swimming quite to her world record times in recent months. So that should be a particularly intriguing event. But before we get into the competition proper, we have the 3 coups de bâton, 3 strikes of the baton. And the man who has the honor today is Philippe Croizon, a French athlete and first quadruple amputee to swim across the English Channel between England and France. He competed in the Dakar Rally in a modified vehicle in 2017. He's an adventurer and he's a character. 2 heats to come in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB7. Maria Pavlova, the world record holder at 1:26.86. Ellie Marks has the Paralympic Games record from Rio, a 1:28.13. 5 competitors who go in the first heat. There are 5 to go in the second as well. But watch out for 13-year-old Iona Winifred, who goes in lane 4. We've seen a couple of 13 and 14-year-olds making their mark already at these games, including Ismail Barlov of Bosnia and Herzegovina, silver medalist on day 7 of competition. Team South Africa seem to be surrounding Frige, the mascot. Some of the friends and family of Team South Africa, including Alani Ferreira's family. She'll go in the breaststroke events later this session. For the first set of competitors in the heats of the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB7 make their way out onto pool deck. Gonzalez of Mexico, Prada of Colombia, Winifred of Great Britain, Spain's Tudor and Chen of China Now, Winifred, much has been made of her performances already. She finished 4th in her first ever final in the 200 IM. And massive, her first Paralympic Games final, I should say. That's Gonzalez of Mexico, the 20-year-old who was 5th at the World Championships 2 years ago. There's Winifred. Deb, you were just a little older than she is now when you made your international debut. What's it like when you're so incredibly young compared to, in some cases, veterans around you?
When you're young, the first time is super exciting, right? And you literally have nothing to lose. And so it's amazing. It actually gets harder the second time around because there's all those expectations. But when you're young, like, everything is new and exciting. And every time you get in the water, it's like a new best time. It's the best feeling.
So Gonzalez, Prada, Winifred, Thudar, and Chen going in the first heat of the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB7. Prada made the final in Tokyo, where she finished 6th, the Pan American Games champion. Chen starts in the water. Should be a good start for Winifred, and she does get away well. Good underwater from Gonzalez traditionally, and in fact it's Prada who's come up in front, but Thudar now into a stroke. But Winifred, once she gets into a stroke, should be very difficult to catch. She's the European champion. Her ambition simply is to win a medal in Paris, and this is an event which she has dominated over the last year and is well set with her sub-130 times to challenge for a podium place. But at the moment it's Prada, Winifred and Thudar effectively together coming up towards the wall at 50.
You know, it's funny when a swimmer comes in with like no expectations and then all of a sudden they're winning a gold medal. You literally have nothing to lose. And look at Winifred go during her first 50. So she touches just second, but she's only 0.14 behind. She does not have the strongest start or the strongest turns, but she makes up a lot of ground once she gets into her stroke. And now she looks like she's coming up first.
She is. She's starting to make her way into the lead in the closing 25 meters here. Thudar, very powerful arm stroke, Thudar, as Prada falls a little way back now. Somebody who's still seeking a place in the final. Gonzalez is just ahead of Chen for 4th at the moment. A reminder that this is about posting qualifying times rather than going for victories, but certainly a victory will help your lane draw for the final. And Winifred is going to touch in a fairly comfortable time, just outside 130, 132.36. Winifred takes heat 1 ahead of Thudar of Spain. At the moment, it's Chen qualifying quickest to the wall, 3rd. She finishes ahead of Prada and Gonzalez, who she passed in the closing 50. So Winifred in 132.36 puts down a pretty solid time.
You can see her kind of looking around, just where do I go? She flew off the blocks and she went out in 45.79. And you can see right now, she didn't have the strongest first half. I think she can go a lot faster during final. She comes to the wall actually second by about 1/10 of a second, and then she pushes off. She had a solid second half. She came back in 132.36, which is about 3 seconds off of her sea time. So you know that when she's in the final and she's next to the likes of Pavlova, Tripp, and Routliffe, that she's going to be faster during finals.
One of Great Britain's star teenagers is just 13, Winifred, and she takes the first heat in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB7. Now, we're just waiting for the official results to appear. We can confirm the results. Then there has been a disqualification. Natalia Gonzalez of Mexico has been disqualified. Winifred takes it ahead of Thudar, Chen, and Prada, 144, may well swim in the final. Second heat features Dushkova, Tripp, Pavlova, Routliffe, and Somellera of Mexico. 5 to go. Yep. Pavlova, the world record holder now, the defending champion as well, going in lane 4. She's flanked by Canadian swimmers Abby Tripp to her left and Tess Routliffe to her right.
Take your marks.
Routliffe gets away brilliantly for Canada in lane 5, the reigning world champion after winning her first World Championship title in 2022. And into her stroke, Pavlova is pushing hard in the opening stages of this 100-meter breaststroke SB7. Abby Tripp looks really solid as well in her second and last event in Paris.
Now, this second heat would have seen the 132 that Iona Winifred posted during Heat 1. Already you have Pavlova out quickly. She's got that long glide. Her stroke rate is not super fast, but what she does is she has such a glide. But Routliffe from Canada is hanging with her and looks like she almost would go past her. Pavlova is going to have the advantage here on the wall. She got that nice long stroke, but Routliffe really trying to keep up here.
Routliffe is just delighted to be back and competing in the Paralympic Games after having to miss Tokyo through injury. But Pavlova, bear in mind, was beaten by Winifred at the European Championships, but then came back sensationally in the World Para Series leg in France, in Limoges in June, where she smashed the world record to lay down a 1:26.86. She will finish strong, but she's got such a wonderful glide as well. Very powerful kick. And Pavlova is going to finish well ahead of Routliffe here. Abby Tripp is fading, and Sommeliera's got herself into third, but it's going to be Pavlova who touches in 1:31 to qualify quickest for the final. Routliffe hits the wall in 1:33 and will swim in lane 3 for the final. Sommeliera is third at the wall, while Dushkova and Tripp have a little bit of a battle in the closing moments, and Dushkova touches ahead of Tripp, who touches in 1:40.47, so 1:45 and 1:46, beg your pardon, so Tripp will miss out on a place in the final.
Routliffe got off to a nice start ahead of Pavlova here, but Pavlova's stroke, I mean, look at how long she stays and glides in comparison to the two other swimmers. She's got that tilt, she's a little imbalanced in her stroke here. And during the first 50, it looked like Routliffe was going to try and make a move, but right after the wall, once Pavlova gets into her stroke, really nobody could keep up with her. And she went 1:35.25, which is almost a second faster than Winifred's time from Heat 1. So Winifred and Pavlova have a race on their hands for finals.
Pavlova finishes ahead of Routliffe, ahead of Sommeliera and Dushkova in Heat 2. Top 4 will qualify for the final. Pavlova ahead of Winifred. Routliffe will be in lane 3 for the final. Sommeliera, Chen, Prada and Dushkova also swim in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB7 final. 2 heats to come in the men's 50-meter freestyle S5.
Now, here's the question. Is it going to be a Chinese sweep?
Guo Chun-Chung is the world record holder. He's making his Paralympic Games debut. He'll go in the second heat, but you're right, there is much expectation about a China sweep for a third time at Paris 2024 in the pool. Karimi, Pulver, Wang, Yuan, Bucciardo and Lerios go in this first heat. 6 competitors. Well, the top 3 times have come from Chinese swimmers. The only swimmer really who's matched them for pace in the last 18 months has been Samuel da Silva de Oliveira, who will go in the second heat. The 19-year-old who was champion at the Pan American Games. Bucciardo goes in lane 6 for Italy. Watch out for Abbas Karimi as well, who goes for USA in lane 2. Is Wang Liqiao, the Tokyo bronze medalist, Asian Para Games silver medalist. Alongside him is Yuan Weiyi. 2 golds already here in Paris, the Tokyo silver medalist. There's Karimi, relay silver here already in Paris, the Pan American Games bronze medalist. He was flag bearer for the refugee Paralympic team at Tokyo 2020, now competing for United States. Pulver goes alongside him in 3. Lerios, in his Paralympic Games debut, the 27-year-old from Greece, goes in lane 7. He was 5th at the European Championships. There's Pulver in 3.
Take your mark.
Expect strong starts from Wang and Yuan, who go alongside one another in lanes 4 and 5. They both finished on the podium in Tokyo. They finished in silver and bronze medal position. At the moment, it's the leg drive that is seeing the Chinese swimmers in front. Yuan only just ahead of Wang, but Wang is looking to close fastest. Kirill Pulver is looking to make up a little bit of ground now on Abbas Karimi, who is currently 3rd. But it is the 2 Chinese swimmers who are going in lanes 4 and 5. It looks like it's going to be Yuan just ahead of Wang. Has Wang got enough in the closing stretch? It's Yuan and Wang who touch 1-2. Pulver touches 3rd, Bucciardo 4th, and Karimi 5th. That was tight. They were separated by less than 1/10 of a second. 32.69 wins it for Yuan ahead of Wang.
You know,
how tight was that finish?
It was a tight finish, but they didn't even look like they were going all out there. I mean, they just posted 32.69, 32.78. So yeah, only 3/100ths of a second, but here's the Chinese swimmers. They fly off the block like every single time. They get out into a huge lead over everyone else. Yuan and Wang, you can see Wang uses the freestyle kick, Yuan uses the fly kick. And here they are they're ahead of everyone else. And right at the end, there's like a little spurt from Wang. Tries to catch Yuan, but both of them just, I do think they're going to go 31s tonight. I do think they can go faster. I mean, they are just like so powerful coming off the blocks.
They really are. Karimi got off to a really good start for USA, but eventually touched 5th. Bucciardo and Pulver got into their strokes and finished 3rd and 4th. Pulver ahead of Bucciardo, but Yuan and Wang ominously quick in the heat. Heat 2 features 7 competitors. Dominican Republic, Ukraine, China, Brazil, Malaysia, and Japan are represented. Jimenez of Dominican Republic, Semenenko and Komarov of Ukraine go alongside one another in 2 and 3. Da Silva de Oliveira of Brazil in 5, Zulkafli in 6, Hinata of Japan in 7, but Guo Jincheng is having a sensational time at his first Paralympic Games. Goes in lane 4. That's Da Silva de Oliveira of Brazil, Pan American Games champion.
Take your mark.
It's a great start for the Pan American Games champion, but he swims alongside the world record holder and world champion, Asian Para Games gold medalist Guo Jincheng. And he breathes very seldom over a 50-meter freestyle. He just uses the freestyle kick and absolutely motors through the pool. He finds himself leading by a very comfortable margin with 15 meters to go. Samuel da Silva Oliveira is comfortably in 2nd. It looks like Komarov has made his way into 3rd for Ukraine, but we're going to touch in Paralympic Games record time, sub 30 seconds for Guo. Komarov catches da Silva Oliveira in the closing stages. Zulkafli 4th. It's Hinata 5th, Semenenko 6th, and eventually Jimenez at 38.28. But Guo Jincheng, 29.97. We are going to have China swimming in the 3 center lanes. Guo will go in 4, Yuan in 5, and Wang in 3 for the final as they seek a sweep in this event. His world record is 29.78.
Yeah.
He's just put down a 29.97 in the heats.
Now this, you can see Guo Jincheng, here's the kick. He puts his head down. He doesn't really breathe. He's going to slam his head into the touchpad to finish in 29.97. I think you said he was motoring down. That's a good way to describe it. He was going for it. I think he might break the world record during finals.
I have a sneaky suspicion it is on. Guo Jincheng takes heat 2 ahead of Alexander Komarov, who finished really quickly. Da Silva de Oliveira of Brazil 3rd. 3 Chinese swimmers qualify as the 3 fastest for the final ahead of Komarov and Da Silva de Oliveira. Pulver, Bucciardo and Zulkafli of Malaysia is into another final with a 34.51. Sub 30 seconds in the heats. World record. Watch out for it in the finals.
And that was S5.
2 heats to come in the men's 100-meter freestyle S6. Antonio Fantin, the world record holder and defending champion, will go in the second heat. 1:02.70 his time from the World Paraswimming Series in Italy earlier this year. Acosta, Van Hofwegen, Chateau, Crispin, Perez of Cuba, one of the all-time greats at the age of 38, still going, and then Milon de Oliveira of Brazil. Chateau makes his way out to much applause. The Frenchman who goes in lane 4. Bronze at the World Championships last year in this event. Although fly is his best stroke, arguably, he's a very strong freestyler as well. So not to be discounted when you talk of podium places potentially in this event. There is Chateau. So we'll go in lane 4. There's Milon de Oliveira of Brazil, who will go in 7. He swims alongside one of the greats in Perez. That's Nelson Crispin, the Tokyo silver medalist. There's Rendon of Colombia, 5th at the Pan American Games. Milon de Oliveira going for Brazil. Perez, who goes alongside him, that's Van Hofwegen, the Dutch swimmer who was bronze at the European Championships, 5th in Tokyo and Rio. Colombia's most decorated Paralympian with 10 medals is Crispin. But watch out for lane 6 as well. He won London bronze and Rio gold. Lorenzo Perez of Cuba, the former world champion, Pan American Games bronze medalist. His son Jonathan actually swims for Cuba in non-para swimming. Van Hofwegen going in 3. Chateau goes as the favourite in this heat in 4 alongside Crispin of Colombia. Great start for Rendon, but the underwater of Crispin and Chateau generally very good. Van Hofwegen gets off to a traditionally strong start as well. The 27-year-old Dutch swimmer going in 3. It is Van Hofwegen who's leading, but Chateau already looking to close the gap on the Dutch swimmer out in front of Crispin, looking to hold on to Chateau.
And Chardon has the power of this French crowd behind him. You know that's helping him. He basically does a fly kick with a fly pull throughout the entire way. We already talked about what a phenomenal butterflyer he was. He touches first off the wall. He goes out in 31.4. He has the help of this crowd behind him. But what does Crispin Corzo have in store during lap 2?
So Van Hofwegen has been passed by Chateau. He got a little more off the wall, certainly the Dutch swimmer, but Chateau comes into his stroke and is really looking strong, willed on by this crowd. Crispin is uncharacteristically some way back in 3rd, and Rendon is nearly on his shoulder. Van Hofwegen is holding on for 2nd, but Chateau is going to come to the wall and take the first heat very comfortably. The French swimmer glides in and touches in 1:05.33 to finish ahead of Van Hofwegen. Crispin touches 3rd in 1:08.70. Anything sub 1:09 should get you comfortably into the final. A 1:10 for Rendon, who touches 4th. He'll be watching the second heat with interest. But Chateau takes a confident victory in the first heat, the 29-year-old, in 1:05.33.
Here's Chardar off the start. He gets a great push, dives into the water, and he took this out quickly. You see right now Chardar, who's like 2nd. During the first 25 meters, he hit the wall first. He's got this very powerful flip. Crispin Corzo was with him at the 50, but then really faded behind as Chardar took this heat. He went 1:05.33, which is a solid time for him. Crispin Corzo, though, did not have a good swim. He went 1:08.70, added about 3 seconds to his sea time, which is a lot for 100.
Yeah, so Crispin and Perez are two who are well off their times in the heats. Let's confirm the results, though, in the men's 100-meter freestyle S6 first heat. Chateau takes it ahead of Van Hofwegen. Crispin at 1:08. Rendon will be looking to make the final with his 1:10. Perez well off his time at 1:12. 7 competitors to go in the second heat of the men's 100 free S6, including world record holder and defending champion Antonio Fantin of Italy. The reigning world champion goes in 4. Talison Glock of Brazil is in 5. Jesus Gutierrez, the youngest of the Gutierrez brothers, goes in 2. Daniel Xavier Mendez of Brazil goes in 3. Al Khafaji of Iraq is in 1. Luo Qingbiao is representing China, goes in 6. And Jia Hongguang goes for People's Republic of China in 7. The 8-time Paralympic Games medalist.
Take your mark.
Starting in the water, Fantin. The rest of the swimmers will get a little bit of an advantage off the blocks, but once Fantin is into his stroke, just watch how quick he is. He's got an incredibly quick stroke rate, and he is, at the moment, just about in front, coming up to the opening 25. Jia Hongguang is got a really powerful kick, and he finds himself leading, but it is Fantin who comes into his own now, just ahead of Daniel Xavier Mendez of Brazil in Paralympic Games debut. He's lying second, it seems.
Yep, Fantin turns first at the wall, 30.6. Now, Fantin is the world record holder and the Paralympic record holder, so if he's on his time, he should have no problem taking this heat. Talison Glock, though, we know he's swimming well. He's trying to hang with Fantin, but Fantin now really pulling away during the end of this 100.
Yeah, watch Talison Glock in the closing stages of this race. Antonio Fantin is pulling away. Talison Glock challenging his compatriot Daniel Xavier Mendez for second. Glock should take second place, but Fantin is going to win this heat in 1:03.67, Paralympic Games record time for Antonio Fantin, the world record holder and world champion, defending champion as well, ahead of Glock, ahead of Xavier Mendez, Luo and Jia. Jia ahead of Luo, finishing 4th and 5th. 6th for Jesus Gutierrez, and Qasim Al Khafaji comes to the wall now, 1:23.26 for Iraq's fine freestyler, but a 1:03.67. He's gone a second faster effectively for his world record, but for a heat, that is a very good time.
Yeah, he was quick, and he took it out quick, too. You can see, here's the start. What's amazing is that Fantin doesn't really get anything off the start, but what he does well is he gets right into his stroke. Here's Talison Glock at the bottom, just really coming along, but no match for Fantin with that quick stroke rate. And he has such a long pull. He does maximize every single pull. You know, Jia Hongguang went out very quickly, as he typically does, but no match for the Italian. 1:03.67 with a new Paralympic record, and Talison Glock posted a 1:05.76. So that heat was quick.
Yeah, to finish quite so far ahead of Talison Glock is telling.
Yeah.
Fantin over 2 seconds ahead of Glock, with Xavier Mendez third. 1:03.67, new Paralympic Games record for Fantin of Italy. He'll be favourite in the final. So, Fantin ahead of Chateau, ahead of Glock, Van Hofwegen, Xavier Mendez, Jia, Crispin and Rendon in the finals. Two heats to come in the women's 400-meter freestyle S10. Six competitors who go in each of the heats. The world record holder and Paralympic Games record holder from a victory in Tokyo just over 3 years ago, Aurélie Rivard, goes in lane 4. The 28-year-old now, London silver medalist, but has won golds at the last 2 editions. She'll be challenged, though, by Ali Truitt of USA, who goes in 5. Winnet, Wilson, Rivard, Truitt, Hotz, and Lily Fox-Mason of New Zealand, the teenager from New Zealand, the 19-year-old who was 7th at the World Championships 2 years ago, the Christchurch-based swimmer. Began swimming as a 6-year-old. There's Winnet, Pan American Games silver medalist in 4:52. There's Mason, diagnosed with leukemia as a 3-year-old. She's got great upper body strength, though. Wonderful mental resilience. Somebody who's a casual lifeguard for the Christchurch City Council. She goes in lane 7. Truitt goes for USA in lane 5. Rivard goes in 3. That's Poppy Wilson, the 20-year-old. teammates and friends call her Popsicle, Poppy Wilson. She goes for Australia in 3. Mason for New Zealand in 7. Winnett and Truett go for USA. Hotz for Hungary, still only 16, bronze medalist at the World Championships already in her career. But Rivard is the defending champion. She's the world record holder.
Take your marks.
Good start for Rivard, but this is the 400-meter freestyle, so 8 lengths of the pool. This is not a sprint. This is about pacing for these swimmers, the longest event at the Paralympic Games for swimmers in the S10 classification. We are underway in the 400-meter freestyle S10 for women. Rivard looking really comfortable, but Truett alongside her, and Truett's got a great story, but she's also remarkably quick and maybe going to show that in the heats as well against Rivard.
Yep, Truett turns first at the wall. This is not super surprising that Truett's going to go out ahead of Rivard. I do think she's going to want to challenge her in the heats. Rivard has not really been on her time. She's been doing well, but not hitting her best times in Paris. And Truett, this is really her breakout meet, and this is also one of her best events. Before the shark attack, Truett was actually a distance swimmer at Yale. She did the 500, the 1,000, and the 1650, and she went to Women's Ivy League Championships, and she was fast. So to see her now do the 400, I think she should comfortably take this heat. I also think there's a possibility that she's going to challenge Rivard's world record. If she swims, she's going to have to go a major PB, but I do think she's capable of doing it.
Ali Truett leading the way by a couple of body lengths here from Rivard, the world record holder. You're right, Rivard, I mean, she's a 5-time Paralympic Games champion. She's not been swimming at times. 1 bronze and 1 silver so far in 2 of her favorite events, and she's more of a sprinter than a distance freestyler, to be fair. So this is maybe not her strongest event. Truett, though, despite the fact that she's defending champion and world record holder, I should add. But Truett certainly somebody who was attacked by a shark last year, but began para-swimming within 3 months of the attack. The Yale Bulldog swimmer finds herself leading by now 3 body lengths from Rivard. Battle for third is on between Wilson and Winnett, with Hotz a little way back. Mason finds herself 6th at the moment.
And Truett swimming really well. She went out in 2:15.5. She is taking a commanding lead over Aurélie Rivard. I do think Aurélie Rivard, she's more, she has the world record. She is more of a sprinter, but Ali Truett, wow, she looks phenomenal just during the heats.
And somebody who has literally got into para-swimming and been led into the world of para-swimming by one of the all-time greats in Jessica Long. Her prosthetist put her in touch with Jessica Long, who's proved to be a really key figure for Truett in the months that followed her attack and her entry into para-swimming.
Right, and Jessica Long won the 400 freestyle during day 7 of the competition, and so now it's day 8, and Ali Truett trying to repeat Jessica Long's success, and she does seem to be doing it.
What does Aurélie Rivard do from here? Because she's got the pace, she's got the ability, she's got the historical results. Undoubtedly, the pedigree does Rivard. But Truett has gotten so far away, the lead looks to be unassailable effectively with 100 to go in this 400 freestyle S10 first heat. Does Rivard settle for a comfortable swim, touch second, and maybe go for it in the final? Or will she show some of her prowess in the closing stages? I wonder, as Winnett looks to touch third ahead of Hotz.
I don't think that Rivard is going to try to challenge Truett. I mean, we know Rivard has phenomenal closing speed. She is truly a sprinter. She doesn't like this event as much as she likes the sprints. And Truett is too far out ahead. I just don't see Rivard wanting to expend the energy to try and run down Truett during the final 100.
So, Rivard certainly has the speed to match anybody if she's closer come final time, but Truett has controlled this effectively from start to finish. Truett touches 3 seconds ahead of Rivard at the 3:50 mark. Winnett is going to touch third, only just of Cengiz Hotz of Hungary. 5th at the wall is Wilson, and Mason is 6th, but out in front, Rivard is coming back a little, and maybe just to get a few bugs out of her swimming, just show some of her speed in the closing stretch. She'll touch second, though, behind Truett. A 4:34.71 wins it for Ali Truett of USA, ahead of Rivard, the defending champion. 4:37 for Rivard. His world record stands at 4:24. She's gone 4:33 this year. Winnett touches third, ahead of Hodds. Wilson fifth, and Lily Fox-Mason comes to the wall now. Just outside 5 minutes. Very comfortable swim for Truett, it seemed. She swam at the European Championships as part of her prep in April. Rivard, 50 free bronze, 100 free silver in Paris. Is their 400 free gold in her future. She's got some challenge, it seems, though, if heats are to be considered.
Now, Rivard had the quicker start here, but Ali Truett, once she got into her stroke, she led this race from start to finish, and she looked comfortable. She didn't look like she was going out overly fast, overly slow. She swam this race smart, and that's exactly what you have to do during prelims. Here she is waving. This is her first, like, major international competition. She went 4:34.71. Rivard not really in the picture. She went 4:37.03. That's exactly what we would have expected here for Heat 1.
Good result for USA. They touch 1 and 3. Rivard touches between the two Americans. Heat 2, 6 competitors who go, including Olivia Jablonska and Bianca Papp from Poland and Hungary, respectively. They were medalists in Tokyo. Jablonska with the bronze and Papp with the silver behind Rivard. But it's Barrera, Rogers, Papp, Jablonska, Lorandi of France, and New Zealand's Gabby Smith, who goes in 7. Australian-born to New Zealand parents, Gabby Smith, relocated to Christchurch in 2014. There's a bit of a hold-up here because the crowd is cheering Lorandi, who goes in lane 6 for France. That's Papp of Hungary, 5th in Rio, but then silver in Tokyo. Jablonska goes in 5 alongside her. But Lorandi was the champion in London 12 years ago and bronze medalist in Rio 8 years ago. Barrera will look to get off to a good start, I suspect. She swam it like that at the Pan American Games and is going in lane 2. Faye Rogers of Great Britain goes as well. Bronze at the 2023 World Championships, but maybe also just regarded more of a sprinter than a distance freestyler. But Papp at the moment maybe just ahead, coming up towards the 50 in the women's 400 free S10.
And Papp was the silver medalist from Tokyo. We know how quick she can go. She's capable of going sub 4:30. She got the silver with 4:29.83. So if someone like Papp swims to her times, she could very well challenge Ali Truett. Now look at Faye Rogers, though, going out hard. Faye Rogers, we know what a great butterflyer she is, but if she has the endurance to keep this up during the 400, she could also very well be a medal contender.
Does she have the endurance? Lorandi at the moment is sitting third, it looks like, coming into the wall. Lorandi and Rogers touch together third. Lorandi, who actually took gold in London, took bronze in Rio, missed 2020 in Tokyo after giving birth to her daughter Nina a few months before the competition was set to take place. And she's spoken about how that had completely changed her perspective on life. She comes with a fresh perspective to Paris 2024, but delighted to be competing in front of home fans. Jablonska is not allowing Papp to get away, neither is Rogers. So solid swims from either side of Papp, the silver medalist from Tokyo and 2-time reigning world champion. She was only third at the European Championships, though, and well off her time.
So this second heat is a lot tighter than we saw in heat. I mean, heat 1 was kind of a blowout with Ali Truett just kind of going way ahead of Rivard. But right now, Faye Rogers seems to be just leading the pack, but she's shoulder to shoulder with Bianca Papp, and Jablonska and Lorandi not too far behind.
So Jablonska, 2-time world champion. She knows how to win this event. Bronze medalist in Tokyo, and silver medalist at the last 2 editions of the World Championships. And she beat Papp at the European Championships, importantly. So she's coming perhaps with a little more confidence into this. But Rogers has been so incredibly impressive here. That bronze at the last World Championships, it seems no fluke.
No, and Faye Rogers is going to have to go a massive PB if she wants to hang with someone like Ali Truitt during the finals. Right now, though, we're now into the third 100, which for someone who is more of a sprinter, this is where the 400 starts to really hurt. And see, again, you still see Faye Rogers, Bianca Papp, and Jablonska all turning together as they go into the second 50 of the third 100 of the 400. So once they turn off the wall, there's going to be one more 100 to go, and now you see Faye Rogers start to really put her legs into it, and she wants to, I think, send a message to their swimmers in this heat.
This is incredible that through 300 meters effectively, you've got swimmers separated by only hundredths of a second. Rogers maybe just falling back a little now, and this is where Jablonska's looking to push the pace against Papp in the closing 100. This is where the Polish swimmer will look to pull away. Jablonska ahead of Papp, ahead of Rogers. They separated effectively by half a second with 100 meters to go. Rogers gets a little more off the wall than Jablonska. Laurandi is still in fourth for France and posting a time arguably quick enough to get herself into the final. She was 3:34 at the wall through 300, but Papp is now coming through the center.
Yep, Papp now going into the last wall here. This is going to be the 350 turn. Faye Rogers really faded that 50 though. Now you see Papp and Jablonska going for it.
Well, this is a very tight contest, maybe separated by a little more now in the last 50 meters. Bianca Papp grew into this race. She allowed Rogers and Jablonska to swim alongside her for the bulk of it, but she's pulling away. Jablonska tried to push the pace with 100 to go, but Papp, equal to the task, was able to pull in front. Jablonska will show a little spurt in the closing stages, but she's not going to reach the wall ahead of the Hungarian, who touches first. Papp in 4:40.84 ahead of Jablonska. Rogers touches third. And that, a slower heat, but a tighter race. Laurandi touches in 4:50.42. And that'll see her into the final safely. Smith touches in 5:02. Bianca Papp takes the second heat. She looked well in control of that.
Now, as you said, that was a lot closer of a heat than Heat 1, but both Truitt and Rivard were faster than anyone in this heat. So Bianca Papp, you know, she kind of hung back. All these swimmers, Faye Rogers, Papp, and Jablonska, very close throughout the entire race. It wasn't until pretty much the last 100 where Bianca Papp took off. So she went 4:40.84, but she is capable of going a lot quicker than that, and she's going to have to if she wants to challenge someone like Truitt or even Rivard, who went 4:37.
What you got, though, is a host of swimmers capable of going 4:30s in the final. 4:40, 41, and 43, the top three for Papp, Jablonska, and Rogers. Laurandi will qualify for the final with their 4:50. Here are the 8 finalists then. Hotz and Papp, 2 from Hungary in the final, 2 from USA. France's Laurandi is in, Rivard and Rogers, as well as Jablonska of Poland. Two heats to come in the men's 100-meter breaststroke SB11. There are only 10 competitors across the two heats, so only 2 will miss out on the final. Young Bozun is still among the favorites for a medal here, the world record holder and Paralympic Games record holder from his victory in Rio. Young Bozun goes with the second fastest time in the world this year. He's done 1:12. He'll go in lane 4 in the first heat. He won gold in London, he won gold in Rio, he won bronze in Tokyo, and that after finishing in silver medal position in Beijing. There is the great Young Bozun, the 38-year-old from Tianjin, twice a world champion in this event. He won the Asian Para Games with a 1:12. There is Triana of Colombia. He'll go in lane 6. A man who's made the finals at the last 2 games, Brian Triana, Para-Pan American Games silver medalist. Spain's Cantero goes in lane 3. Lithuania's Matakas goes in 5. Bronze at the World Championships 2 years ago and bronze at the European Championships in April. There's Cantero. Boronin will go in lane 2. Young in 4. So Boronin, Cantero, Young, Matakas and Triana. Boronin will go in 2. Finished 6th at the European Championship. Young, who loves to go through his strokes, limbers up behind the blocks. Stretches the arms. Does a lot of bending and stretching before he actually gets into the pool. That's a brilliant start from Cantero of Spain. Really, really very strong breaststroker in recent times. It's a stroke that he's come to enjoy. Somebody who finished 4th at the European Championships. Cantero, though, is being left a little behind by Young and Matakas, who look to be leading the way through the early stages of this race. Young very much into his stroke, very quickly into his stroke. Will look to lead at the 50 mark and bring it home. Young touches in 34.11 ahead of Matakas.
Now Young, a very experienced swimmer, but in this 100-meter breaststroke for the class SB11, where they're wearing the blackened goggles or they have the prosthetic eye, it is all about staying in a straight line here. And Young Botsun does seem to be doing that. Matakas, though, catching him really in this second 50.
They both swam in the final in Tokyo. Matakas finished 5th, and it's a strong finish from Matakas. Bozun now hits the lane rope on his left and is losing a little bit of time and ground. He's lost his lead effectively. Swims to the lane rope down the right now. Matakas has made up ground, but it's a great pull from Young, who hits the wall first in 1:14.99. It'll be 3rd for Triana in 1:21. Cantero and Boronin a little further back in 1:23, separated by 1/10 of a second. But Young Botsun takes it sub 1:15, out in 34, home in 40. Botsun takes heat 1.
Young Botsun holds the world record in this event, so he should win. Now, during the first 50, Young and Matakas were swimming fairly straight, and that was helpful for them. Where Young Botsun started to struggle, though, was during the second 50. That's when he started running into the lane line, and he was swimming a little bit more diagonal. So to go at 1:14.99, even with those inefficiencies, here's the tap out at the end, tells you that Young Botsun is definitely capable of standing on the podium, and if not challenging someone like Dorsman for the gold medal.
Got to try to ensure that he is a little straighter in the lanes come final time, though. Dorsman is likely to be quick, and he will go in the second heat. There's always a little delay for the official results because the goggles need to be inspected. The swimmers, even with most limited vision, do need to swim with blackened goggles, and the officials will check them before the official results are confirmed. But as things stand, Botsun takes it. Young Botsun in 1:14.99. 0.7 ahead of Matakas of Lithuania. So these are the official results then. Young ahead of Matakas, ahead of Triana. Cantero with a 1:23, 1/10 of a second quicker than Boronin. But much will depend on the second heat in terms of their prospective qualification. 5 who go in the second heat, including Rogier Dorsman, the defending champion, 4-time Paralympic Games gold medalist, reigning world champion. He's the European champion. The only thing he does not hold at the moment is the world record, but he has come close. He swum 1:10.42 and 1:10.31 in his last couple of races. 1:10.08 is the world record. So Dorsman is in form in this event. Murat Bekov of Kazakhstan, the 19-year-old. Later, Limas goes for Colombia in 3. Dorsman in 4. Chufarov in 5. And Kratochvil of Czechia in 6. Great start for Dorsman. Traditionally a really good starter with a very solid underwater, and when he gets into his stroke should be the competitor to catch. Kratochvil, though, has been one of the standout performers at these games. He's won a gold, a silver and a bronze already, but Dorsman is controlling matters through the opening 25 meters, already a commanding lead.
And Dorsman, just look at his stroke in comparison to someone like Kratochvil. Dorsman, such a technically proficient swimmer, and here you can see he was hanging, he's going a little bit diagonal coming into the first 50, nice tap. And one thing I liked about Dorsman is he struggled during the first half of this meet. He did not win the 400 free, where he was the heavy favorite. He did not make the final in the 50 free. He then went and swam off. He had a good 50 there, and that gave him some confidence. And then finally, he got his gold medal in the 200 IM. Now he's into the breaststroke, and he is soaring. And it's almost like he built this meet. Now he's just even off of the world record here.
Yeah, he's likely to swim a 110 in the heats at the moment, the way he is going. Dorsman out in 33. He's got to come to the wall now. Will he go sub 110? Just outside of it, 110.92. Phenomenal time, within a second of the world record, and will qualify quickest by some margin. Chufarov touches second ahead of Limus of Colombia, Kratochvil fourth, and Muratbekov of Kazakhstan fifth. Roger Dorsman, 110.92. That is fast. It's his slowest time in recent months, but it's fast. Yeah, and you can hear when his coach was telling, when his coach was telling him his time as he found out. Dorsman, great start. He flies off the block. And it's important with Dorsman that he stays straight, because again, this is only 2 lengths of the pool, so if they start to go diagonal, they're gonna add distance. But he is a technically proficient swimmer every single stroke, and you can see that in comparison to others in the field, especially someone like Kratochvil, who's younger, he's less experienced, he's not as trained as Dorsman quite yet. Dorsman gets the tap. He's a little bit short on that finish. You can see the hands kind of above the water instead of more of a glide coming in, but that's okay. He went 110.92. I think he might be challenging the world record during finals. Oh, he's in that sort of form, Roger Dorsman. A 110.92 qualifies quickest by 4 seconds for the final. Applauded by the crowd. These are the official results then. Dorsman in 110.92 ahead of Chufarov and Limus. Kratochvil with a 118.71. And he'll advance to the final. So, the 8 finalists: Dorsman, Young, Chufarov, Matekas, Limus, Kratochvil, Muratbekov and Triana. Colombia have 2 in the final, but Dorsman might just be aiming to break Young Botun's world record. 2 heats to come in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB11. Daria Lukyanenko is the world record holder. She set that world record in April this year, 1:17.65. Karolina Pelindretu, though, the Paralympic Games record holder, goes in lane 4. Lukyanenko will go in lane 4 of the second heat. Karolina Pelindretu. Athens SB13. And Beijing 2008 silver medal, SB12. Tokyo SB11 gold medalist. The 5 competitors who make their way out: Kachuk of Ukraine, Argentina's Baez, Pelindretu of Cyprus, China's Zhang, and Rabulini of Italy. Pelindretu will be tough to beat in this heat, you suspect. But come final time, it should be an intriguing battle between her and Lukyanenko. Rabulini, who's a finalist in both Rio and Tokyo, looking for a 3rd consecutive final in this event. She was 3rd at the European Championships, just missed out on a podium place at the last World Championships. There's Pelindretu, 2-time and reigning world champion. But beaten at the European Championship earlier this year by Lukyanenko. Baez goes for Argentina in 3. She won bronze as far back as London. Pelendritou, a 38-year-old in her second event in Paris after 50-meter freestyle silver.
Your marks.
5 competitors who go seeking times that are quick enough to see them into the final, and Pelendritou will look to control this race from the outset. 3 times a Paralympic Games champion in breaststroke. She's won in Athens in SB13, she won in Beijing in SB12, and she won in Tokyo as an SB11 swimmer. She's the reigning world champion, but Baez is looking really strong going in 3 alongside her, the now 35-year-old Argentine.
And you mentioned that Lukianenko, who is going to come up in Heat 2, broke Pelendritou's world record fairly recently. So Pelendritou is going to look to go a commanding performance during Heat 1, try and send a message if possible to Lukianenko, but Pelendritou needs to be careful there. You saw her tangle with the lane rope just a little bit, and now she's a little bit diagonal, and that is killer during a 100. There's only 2 laps, so if you start to zigzag, you're going to add time.
So Pelendritou leading, but not by quite the confident margin that we might have expected. Baez, though, looks really strong for second. Zhang is coming back nicely at both the swimmers in front of her. Zhang Xiaotong, 25-year-old who won silver at the Asian Para Games in Hangzhou, is going past Baez here. Pelendritou will take it to the wall first. She gets the tap, touches in 1:25.29 ahead of Zhang, ahead of Baez. We will get into the final with a 1:26.98. Rabolini touches 4th in 1:32. And coming to the wall now, Kachuk of Ukraine. So out sub 40.
So Pelendritou, you have to wonder if she was taking it pretty relaxed during this Heat 1. She just went 1:25.29, which is well off of her C time, but she didn't look like she was hurting at all during this 100. It was very controlled. She led from start to finish. She didn't have that huge lead that we might have expected, but it didn't really matter because she still got her hands on the wall first. There's the tap. She comes right in, times the finish well, and then you could see the other swimmers well behind her.
The officials inspecting the goggles. This SB11 class for swimmers with most severe visual impairment. They do need to swim with blackened out goggles, so the swimmers, even those with very limited vision, can see nothing in the pool during the races. The official results, though, Pelendritou in 1:25.29 takes it ahead of Zhang Xiaotong, who finished really strong, 1:26. 1:26 as well for Baez of Argentina, who's into the final with that time, you suspect. 6 competitors, though, who go in the second heat of the women's 100 breaststroke SB11, including the world record holder Daria Lukianenko, who broke Pelendritou's mark in April, the Tokyo silver medalist in SB12.
Your marks.
It's Scarlett Humphrey of Great Britain who gets away quickest, 6th at the World Championships 2 years ago. Blatanova of Slovakia goes in 2. Magia, the Tokyo silver medalist, is just edging in front of Scarlett Humphrey at the moment. Tsai Li-wan alongside her, 6th in Tokyo. Marina Podobna already freestyle bronze and relay gold at Paris 2024. A little way off the mark, but Lukianenko coming back, and Magia, who's leading in the early stages of this 100 breast.
Now, Magia and Pelendritou have those infamous showdowns during the 50 freestyle, but here in the breaststroke, you see Magia, you have Pelendritou, but you have Lukianenko, who may just upset them both. Lukianenko had a tough start. She went right into the lane. She was a little bit diagonal. Now she seems to have straightened herself out because Magia is just always swim straight. And Lukianenko now passing Magia.
Well, she's got the speed as Lukyanenko to pass Margia, but the thing that does count in Margia's favour, as you just mentioned, is the fact that she swims so incredibly straight in the lane during the race. She seldom hits the lane rope. Lukyanenko, meanwhile, is just down that right lane rope. She's still comfortably in front, the 22-year-old. What sort of time is she going to lay down here? It's outside of her world record time. It's going to be a fairly comfortable touch, though. 1:22 will see her qualify quickest for the final. She touches ahead of Margia with a 1:25, so those will have lanes 4 and 5 for the final. Pelendrito will be in 3. Scarlett Humphrey touches 3rd. Tylee 1 touches 4th. It's Blatanova to the wall 5th and Pidubna 6th in the 2nd heat. Lukyanenko takes it in 1:22.76.
Here's the start. You can see Margia on the left, Lukyanenko on the right. Lukyanenko struggled off of the start. She immediately came up, went into the lane line, was diagonal, but then was able to straighten herself out. But Margia, so straight, just this entire way. And Margia went 1:25.06, Lukyanenko 1:22.76, both of them faster than the time that Pelendrito posted during Heat 1. So they will go in the center lanes, and Lukyanenko, if she can go anywhere close to her 1:17 world record, will be nearly impossible to beat.
If she can swim straighter in the final, I don't think anybody can match her straight line speed. Lukyanenko 1:22.76, Margia 1:25, a 1:31 for Scarlett Humphrey, a 1:32 for Tylee 1. So confirming the 8 finalists, Tylee 1 sneaks in, will be one of 3 Chinese swimmers to go in the final alongside Zhang, and Margia qualifies 2nd quickest. Lukyanenko will have lane 4. Pelendrito will be alongside her, though, in lane 3 in the final. Two heats to come in the men's 200-meter individual medley SM9. Timothy Hodge of Australia is the world record holder at 2:12.03. Matt Cowdery of Australia, his 2:13.60 still stands from Beijing. There are 7 competitors who go in Heat 1, 8 will go in Heat 2. Hugo Didier goes for France in lane 4, the Tokyo bronze medalist and crowd favourite. He won the European Championships with a good 2:15. Massive cheer for Didier. Kawabuchi will go in 1 for Japan. Spain's Garrido will go in 2. Moscovoy goes as a neutral Paralympic athlete in 3. Neutral Paralympic athlete Kalina goes alongside Didier in lane 5. Escanilla goes for Spain in lane 6, and Lamenche Mosela goes for Brazil in lane 7. There's Kawabuchi. He's still only 15 years old. And from Yokohama, won silver at the Asian Para Games. Didier going in lane 4. He's already got his gold in Paris. This would be an absolute bonus if he were to get himself into gold medal position come final time. That's Lucas Lamenche Mosela. Kalina and Moscovoy go on either side of the French star, both neutral Paralympic athletes. And that was Moscovoy who you saw. That is Kalina. Gold medalist in Tokyo, Kalina. He won silvers in Athens, in Beijing and in London. Missed out in Rio. And then gold again in Tokyo. 100-meter breaststroke gold here. But Didier, quality all-round swimmer, champion of Europe a few months ago. 400 free gold, 100 back silver. Missed out on the 50 free final, which was a big shock. The silver medalist at the last World Championships, Hugo Didier. Going in 4 as the favourite in this heat. but he will have challenges, most notably from Kalina and Moscovoy. Kalina well capable of winning this heat, and in a good time. Getting away brilliantly was Garrido of Spain in lane 2. Made the final in Tokyo and then was disqualified disappointingly, but going nicely is Kalina in lane 5. He's an excellent breaststroker, but his fly stroke is pretty good as well, and he's looking to prove that in the opening stages. Mosella is showing some impetus for Brazil as well, and going nicely for Spain is Garrido, who got off to an exceptional start.
Kalina going out early, but now seems to be losing some of that early speed. Didier now coming back in the backstroke. Great underwater from Didier. As we come into the backstroke, which is a stroke he's a lot more comfortable in, he's sitting pretty far, a little behind right now, so he's got some work to do if he wants to put himself back into first.
He's a very good backstroker, is Hugo Didier, and he should be looking to touch inside the top 2 at the 100. He will close out, you suspect, quickly in the freestyle. Breaststroke will determine the order of the finishes almost certainly. Mosella still looking strong over the opening 100. He looks to be touching in 3rd at the 100. Moscovoy ahead of Didier. It is the Brazilian in 3rd. It's some way back. Now, Didier, what does he do in the breaststroke with Moscovoy leading?
So Moscovoy had that huge lead in the backstroke, and can Didier make up some of this in the breaststroke? Didier not the strongest breaststroke, but neither is Moscovoy, so that's going to help both of them. I mean, they're way out in front right here, but watch the other lanes now start to make moves. You see the Brazilian coming up.
Kalina as well, very strong breaststroker. He'll be pushing for a place in the top 3 in the closing stages. Didier is catching Moscovoy here. Kalina is catching both of them. Didier maybe to the wall first. He does turn at the 150 in front, ahead of the 2 neutral Paralympic athletes. Moscovoy is quick to close. Didier should be quick to close as well. Maybe inspired by this French crowd. Do not discount Kalina, the defending champion, but the European champion with 25 meters to go is in front by half a body length. It might be a heat, but there is serious noise in this venue. La Défense Arena has completely come to life as Didier is going to enliven them with his victory in this heat. He'll touch ahead of Moscovoy. Kalina is nearly out-touched by Escanilla of Spain. Mosella touches 5th. Garrido 6th. Kawabuchi to the wall 7th. A 2:20 nearly on the nose for Didier. Takes the heat by over 1.5 seconds. I love those giant cardboard cutouts of the French athletes. Did enough to secure victory in the heat, did Didier. Didn't really look like he was pushing in any of the strokes, perhaps bar the breaststroke, I thought.
Yeah, Didier did not have the fastest fly. He comes in, he's not even really in the top 3 during the first 50. Then he gets into the backstroke. Didier is a backstroker, so he obviously moved himself up. Moscovoy, though, was out really quick. Didier had a good breaststroke, put himself back in, and he looked like he maybe exerted himself a bit more during the freestyle, but he only went 220.0, which is well off of his C time, so I do think he held back during prelims.
Confirming the results of the first heat, it is Didier ahead of Moscovoy, ahead of Kalina. Escanilla will be watching the clock. He and Mosella certainly for the second heat, which is likely to be very quick. The start list for the second heat features competitors, many of whom will be aiming for a podium place. Timothy Hodge is the world record holder, set in Brisbane just 3 months ago. The 23-year-old goes in 4. France have another hope in Hector Denayer, who goes in 5, the 19-year-old from Dijon. But Schalkenau going in 3, was 4th in Tokyo, and is comfortably sub 220 this year. There's Denayer, goes in 5. Very strong breaststroker, and was 2nd at the European Championships behind Didier in this event. Better come of Germany going in 1, Kirchner of Czechia in 2, Schalkenau in 3, Hodge in 4, Denaye in 5, Shirchili goes for China in 6, Grigorovic goes for Poland in 7, and Shrink of Spain in 8. Now watch for Hodge in this race. He's got the option here of swimming a comfortable race or going out a little harder. He's seen the time laid down by Didier at 2:20 in the first heat. Going out hard, though, is Schalkenau.
Yeah, he is. And Hodge looks to be in about second. He needs to not let Schalkenau go out too far ahead. Hodge, we were talking, he's comfortable, but he does like to go out quick.
Bear in mind, Schalkenau is a backstroker. That is his first and principal stroke. So he will be aiming for a significant lead through the opening 100 here, you suspect. Hodge is coming back at him, though, and this is brilliant from Hodge.
Hodge likes to go out quick, and he likes to swim prelims quick and get into that middle lane. He just went right past Schalkenau, who, as you said, is a backstroker, but right now, Hodge is ceding nothing. And you should know, Didier is constantly second to Hodge, right? Hodge was silver in Tokyo, Didier third. Hodge was first in 2022, Didier second. Same thing in 2023. So these two have a battle.
Hodge to the wall first. Watch out for Denaye. He's well outside the top 5 at the moment at the wall at 100, but his breaststroke is exceptional. He's quick to finish in the free. So he might be getting himself into the final as well, and France will be aiming for 2 in the final. I can tell you that while Hodge has got 25 meters to go, it's 5 swimmers who are competing for second at the moment in the breaststroke. You could pretty much throw a blanket over everybody except Shrink in the breaststroke leg. Now looking to pull away. Vetterkamp is still looking good. Schalkenau and Denaye has got himself, I think, into third, maybe into second at the wall at 150. But Hodge has this race under control. He's not going to be going anywhere near his best times, but Timothy Hodge in firm control.
Quick, yeah, and watch out for Denayer during this final 50. Listen to this French crowd roar for him. I mean, they're going to try and propel him to a massive swim, but Hodge really laying it down during heat 2 of the prelims.
So Timothy Hodge, 5th in Rio, Tokyo silver medalist. He's aiming for gold in Paris, and he comes to the wall in 2:14.36. Quickest to qualify by nearly 6 seconds. Who's going to touch second here? It looks to be Vetterkamp of Germany ahead of Shir. Denaye only 4th with a 2:22.64. That should see him into the final, but only just. Hodge in 2:14.36 will have lane 4 for the final. So not his fastest, but that's still pretty good for a preliminary swim. The reigning world champion going 2:14.
And Schalkenau really faded there despite an early lead in that butterfly. Hodge, though, what a monster swim from him. He went 2:14.36. He's the world record holder. I think he's going to try and challenge that tonight. And if nothing else, definitely the Paralympic record holder. I mean, after that fly, he zoomed in front of everyone else, and nobody else was even on the screen.
So Hodge, qualifying quickest is the Australian, 2:14.36 ahead of Germany's Vetterkamp, Shirchili with a 2:22. So too a 2:22 for Denaye, who will sneak into the final. So France will have 2 in the final. Denaye and Didier will swim for France in the final. Hodge will go as favourite in lane 4. Moscovoy and Kalina are certainly swimmers to watch. Vetterkamp showed how quick he is. Escanilla and Shir also in the final. Two heats to come in the women's 200-metre individual medley SM9. Two of the all-time swimming greats hold records in this event. Dame Sophie Pascoe holds the world record at 2:25, and South Africa's great Natalie du Toit holds the Paralympic Games record from victory in Beijing. 2 for Canada go in this heat. Katharina Roxon at her 5th Paralympic Games, and Mary Gibb at her 1st. Xu Jialing, Sofia Konkoy, Anastasia Dimitriev, Tony Shaw and Natalie Sims also go in this first heat of 2. There'll be 8 competitors in the second heat, 7 in the first. There is Roxanne, competing at a 5th Paralympic Games, the first female competitor for Canada to do so in the para swimming. Hungary's Konkoly, silver medalist in Tokyo, goes in lane 4. She's the reigning world champion, but was beaten at the European Championships by Nuria Marquez, who was bronze medalist in Tokyo. Jib, 6th at the European Championships. She's had a few quick swims already here in Paris. And Dimitriev going in 5 for Spain. The 16-year-old on debut at the Paralympic Games, won gold in the 100 breaststroke here already. Dimitriev goes in 5 alongside Konkoly, who goes in 4 for Hungary.
Take your marks.
Now, Xu Jialing has got a great fly stroke, the former World Championship silver medalist in this event. Might take it out a little harder. She's not at the moment. It's Mary Jib who's looking to lead the way. So too Natalie Sims, very strong fly and free swimmer. Konkoly is near the front, but not quite in front. Dimitriev will be a little further back, but her breaststroke leg is where she'll propel herself, from her perspective, hopefully into the top spots.
Konkoly touching first out the wall. She's out in 32.9. Now Konkoly had that monster swim in the 400 where we saw her take down Lakeisha Patterson from Australia. She just, that last 100, 150 is where Konkoly just really went for it. So we know she is in top form here in Paris and already looking to show her strength in the backstroke. She went out first in the fly. Now she's trying to extend the lead a little bit in the backstroke. The breaststroke there, though, is where things start to take a turn, because swimmers who might not be as good in the fly in the back really start to move up in the breaststroke, and that is the make it or break it leg of this 2IM.
Spot on. Pull, kick, glide seems so simple in principle, but it is the stroke that really determines and dictates so often the order of the finishes. Konkoly is leading at the moment from Jib of Canada, going nicely into. Dimitriev will come into her own here. She turned 5th or 6th, I think 6th at the wall at the 100. Tony Shaw is still holding on ahead of her at the moment, and Sims is falling a little back. Dimitriev is making up ground, and she's nearly in 3rd. Konkoly holding on to the advantage ahead of Jib of Canada, the 17-year-old going in 2, but Dimitriev should be 3rd, if not 2nd, at the wall at 150.
And there does seem to be a battle going on for 3rd. It looks like Tony Shaw, Dimitriev, Natalie Sims are all catching Mary Jib from Canada up in lane 2. Konkoly, though, turning first at the wall.
Maybe not making quite so much of a move as I expected from Dimitriev in the breaststroke leg. This is the heats, after all, though, where swimmers are posting times to qualify for the final. They're not chasing the medals at the moment. It is Konkoly who is in front. She's got 25 meters to go and looks very comfortable. The battle for the 2nd spot, though, the 2nd fastest qualifier, Jib is managing only just to hold on from Dimitriev, from Shaw, from Sims. But there are 4 swimmers that are separated by very little, all well behind Sofia Konkoly of Hungary, who's going to touch first in 2:36.75. Sims might touch 2nd. Is it Sims or Shaw? It's Sims. No, Shaw just ahead of Sims. Dimitriev touches 4th, Jib 5th, Xu 6th. And Roxanne now to the wall in 2:48.61. 2:36.75 wins it for Konkoly of Hungary. Victory in the first heat for the Hungarian. Great finish from Shaw, though.
Yeah.
Out touching Sims.
It's a cardboard cutout of Konkoly there to match some of the French swimmers. And here you see Konkoly right off the block. She had a nice first 50. She breezed to one side during the butterfly. Then she kept that lead, extended a little bit during the backstroke. And a strong breaststroke for Konkoly, who is not typically a breaststroker. That's remarkable for her. And then she came back with a free. She went 2:36.75. Now, we've seen Konkoly go as low as 2:33, so we know she can go quicker during finals. That was a nice, comfortable swim for prelims. Also, solid times from Tony Shaw and Natalie Sims.
smile from Konkoy. Fairly comfortable. 2:36.75. Had a big lead. Takes it effectively by 5 seconds. By 4 seconds effectively, the first heat. Here are the official results in the first heat. Konkoy ahead of Shaw, ahead of Sims, Dmitriev in 2:41, and Mary Jibb in 2:41. They'll both be watching the speed of the second heat. Eight swimmers who go in heat 2, including Nuria Marx, who beat the world champion at the European Championships. She was bronze medalist in Tokyo. She goes in lane 4. Sarai Gascon, who was silver medalist in Rio, is also very quick over this distance. And watch out for Lakeisha Lucky Patterson of Australia in 3. Patterson, having won bronze in Rio, is an SM8 swimmer. We will see the lead change hands a few times in this second heat, given the fly and then back and then breast and then freestyle to come. So 4 lengths of the pool, 1 each in each of the 4 strokes. But in the early stages, Marx and Gascon look to be leading from Patterson and Summer Schmidt of USA. Wodaszewska going for Poland in lane 7. Haas of Costa Rica going in 8.
And Soto, she's out first in 32.7. She looks comfortable right now. She needs to maintain control here. Now they move into the backstroke. Soto, such a great backstroker. Look at that head position. She doesn't even rotate at all. And it's the 2 Spaniards, Sarai Gascon and Soto, looking very strong right now. You can also see at the top of the screen, Lu Ying from the People's Republic of China hanging in there in the backstroke. We'll see what she has for the breaststroke, but right now she still seems to be in a solid second.
Yeah, she's a very strong backstroker, so she'll be looking for an advantage over the opening 100 if she can. Will touch second at the 100 behind Marcus of Spain. So third is anybody's guess. It looks like Patterson. It is just Patterson, but ahead of 3 other swimmers who are very, very close behind her. Schmidt touching 6th, was within a second of Patterson at the wall. But Marcus is leading the way ahead of Liu Ying. After the backstroke leg, into the breaststroke they go. And this is where Sarai Gascon should be pushing. Fine breaststroker and excellent freestyler. Summer Schmidt, can she hang with her? And Lucky Patterson, what has she got in the closing 100? Yep,
Patterson trying to make up some ground. This, if there is a weakness in Nuria Marquez Soto's swim, it is this breaststroke leg. And you can see Gascon trying to make up. She's caught a lot of ground, but I think that lead was maybe just a little bit too much. Now we turn into the freestyle. Gascon also an excellent freestyler.
Spain aiming for 3 in the final here. And Gascon and Marquez are looking to qualify quickest. Patterson is a very fast closer for Australia. She's showing some closing speed. But taking it a little easier here is Marcus and Gascon. Patterson is laying it down a little quicker. Very high stroke rate by comparison to the 2 Spanish swimmers, and closing really fast as well for USA is Schmidt. And Patterson looking to challenge Marquez, who touches first, but only by the slenderest of margins, 0.03 of a second, separating the Spaniard from the Australian. Gascon touches third, Schmidt 4th. So not the quickest heat. The 2:42. Konkoy's 2:36 having been laid down in the first heat. We'll see her go in the final in lane 4. The European champion at 2:42. But really shut it down in the closing 50.
Yeah, that heat was a lot slower than heat 1. So Soto appeared to lead this IM from start to finish, but she almost got run down by Lakeisha Patterson from Australia, who only was behind her by 3/100ths of a second. But just to give you a sense of how much slower this heat was, Soto won it in 2:42.05, which was slower than the top 4 swimmers from heat 1. So you could see the 2 Spaniards really shutting it down during that freestyle. It didn't look like they were really, you know, exerting themselves too much. Lakeisha Patterson, though, did come home in a quick 50-free.
So Sara Gascoigne in danger of missing out on the final as well. So advancing to the final, yeah. Gascoigne is not in the final. 242s get into the final. So Concoy ahead of Shaw, ahead of Sims. Dimitriev and Marquez are there for Spain. Mary Gibb, who finished 4th in her heat, qualifies 5th fastest for the final. That's big that Gascoigne has not made the final.
Yeah, you have to wonder, did she go? She went, I think she took it too easy during that swim.
2 heats in the men's 100-meter breaststroke, SB13. Taliso Engel is the Paralympic Games record holder and the world record holder, both in 102s, 102.97 on his way to victory in Tokyo, 102.22 in April in Portugal. Now, there are 6 SB12 swimmers across the 2 heats, an event that was swum separately for the class in Tokyo, now swimming a class up the SB12 swimmers with the SB13s. There are 3 SB12 swimmers who go in this first heat. But Saito, Kavaljonak and Van Wanrooy are SB13 swimmers, as is Musabekov and Henriks. But Shumagali, Fedina and Michka, who go in 4, 6 and 8, are SB12 swimmers for this first heat. Shumagali won bronze in Tokyo. Musabekov is a former gold medalist. That's Saito of Japan. That is Shumagali of Kazakhstan, the bronze medalist from Tokyo. Silvers at the last 2 World Championships, for the Asian Paragames champion. Ukraine's Oleksiy Fedina and Saito of Japan. Musabekov, a little off his time in Tokyo, but he was champion in Rio. Shumagali has been posting quality times. He actually represented Kazakhstan at the World Junior Championships in non-para swimming. There's Henriks of South Africa, the 19-year-old. He's made the final in every one of his events at Paris 2024. This is his 5th and final event. Van Wanrooy in 3 for Netherlands. Silver at the European Championships. Be interesting to see how Van Wanrooy goes. The Dutch swimmer is off to a good start going in 3 because he was out for 4 months after a fall in December last year. He didn't get back into the pool until March this year and has had a few competitive swims, posting a 106, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes because he's swimming now with screws, with pins and with metal plates in his left arm. As it stands, though, it's Shumagali who's leading from Musabekov and from Van Wanrooy through the opening 50.
And Shumagali, he looks really smooth now with the first 50. He went out in 30.10. That's a solid first swim. And if he comes back in about 34, he should be just fine to win this heat.
That is a pretty quick time. We're on for a pretty quick time here. Shumagali ahead of Van Wanrooy. Shumagali, bear in mind, an SB12 swimmer. Good push from Uzbekistan's Musabekov. So too from Fedina, the SB12 swimmer from Ukraine. Van Wanrooy is falling a little back at the moment, but it will be Shumagali ahead of Musabekov and Fedina to touch 3rd ahead of Van Wanrooy. 105, so came home in 35. Did Shumagali, but comfortable enough to touch 1st. The 107 for Van Wanrooy. Will that get him into the final? Two SB12 swimmers inside the top 3.
Oh, spitting some water there. This was a quick heat. So Shumagali, he's already got the lead at the 50, and he went out quick. You can already see he's about a body length ahead of everyone else, and then he came back strong. He never ceded the lead. He went 105.11, which is less than a second off of his seed time. And then second was 106.16. So a very quick preliminary swimming, you had mentioned that, you know, the 12s are swimming with the 13s. That's because there's not enough 12 swimmers for their own heat. And the swimmers are awarded medals and placements on a combined basis, so they can break individual records, but it's the time that matters.
1:05 is the winning time in the first heat. The second heat featuring 8 competitors. Salguero, Hepmüller, Israfilov, Engel is the defending champion, Abrams, Nikiforov, Yareo of Spain, and Redfern of Great Britain. Matthew Redfern, swimming alongside his sister at these championships. Getting away well into is the 17-year-old German, Philipp Hepmüller, 5th at the World Championships, seeking a first Paralympic Games final, the German, but incredible lead from the other German going in lane 4. Taliso Engel is the 3-time and reigning world champion, the European champion, the world record holder. He's somebody who harbors ambitions of competing at the Olympic Games. He's swum 1:02 this year. His world record, 1:02.22, set in April, just a few months ago. What kind of form is he going to put down in the heats?
Wow, Engel out really quick and way ahead of everyone else. He's got over a body length ahead of Israfilov and David Abrams from the United States, who's the silver medalist in Tokyo here and trying to catch the second place, but put himself into second now.
Israfilov won gold in the SB12 classification in Tokyo and has got himself in second, just ahead of Abrams. Engel, though, is going to take this, and he's going to do it in world record time as well. Taliso Engel goes sub 1:02, a 1:01.84, out in 28.86, home in world record time, 1:01.84. Taliso Engel. We thought he'd go quick in the heats. I didn't think it would be quite so quick. That is sensational from the German. 1:01.84. World record by nearly half a second. 1:01.84. I might repeat that a few times because he's gone sub 1:02. I can't believe the time.
I know, that was so bad.
I mean, when he went out in 28.86, a quick time was on, but I thought it would be a 1:25 mid, maybe a 1:02 mid.
I know, that was he just took off 4/10 off of the world record. It was his own world record, but my goodness, was that quick. And he led this race. He was quick off the start. He's got a good underwater. He's already a body length ahead of the other swimmers. And mind you, Israfilov and David Abrams are excellent at this event, but Engel just is in a class by himself. Look at this. He just dives every single stroke. The glide is perfect. He's on top of the water. He comes in, he times the swim it perfectly, gets the hands on the wall. I might just keep going. I can't help it.
Well, Taliso Engel, when he won gold in Tokyo, touched in then world record time. He's now set the world record in the heats in Paris, 1:01.84. He qualifies fastest by nearly 4 seconds from this second heat. Israfilov touching in 1:05.82. Abrams in a 1:06.76. So Engel, unsurprisingly, quickest to qualify. 1:01.84. Chumagali, a 1:05. Israfilov, third quickest. Musabekov in the final. Abrams, Fedina's there as well. 2 heats to come in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB12. Elena Kravtsov is the world record holder, and we've seen one German world record in breaststroke already today. Might we see another? She'll go in the second heat. 5 competitors go in the first heat. 2 from Brazil, Raquel Vil and Maria Gomes Santiago. The champion in Tokyo, Petrikovitskova of Slovakia goes in 1, Cheng of China goes in 2, and Alani Ferreiro, was the bronze medalist at the World Championships last year, goes for South Africa in 5. So Maria Gomes Santiago, the Paralympic Games record holder, she's gone far quicker than her Paralympic Games record of 1:14.89 already this year. But just how fast will she go, and can she match Kravtsov come finals time? Kravtsov expected to qualify quickest from the second heat, and may just be going for her own world record. Gomes Santiago. Chung, 6th at the World Championships last year. That was Petrovickova of Slovakia, the 30-year-old, who was 6th at the European Championships. Veal in lane 6, having finished 4th at the Pan American Games. That was Alani Ferreira you saw for just a moment. Stargardt disease, that has limited her vision. 3rd at the European Champs as part of her prep for Paris. Bronze at the World Championships. But a sub 122 would be good for Ferreira. But Gomes Santiago is likely to go 115. Depending on what kind of race she wants to put down in the heats. Maria Gomes Santiago off to a decent start. The Pan American Games champion, the defending champion in this event. Chung will go up pretty quickly. Ferreira will swim arguably a more measured race. Pacing required in the 100-meter breaststroke SB12. But it is the Brazilian who is in front. And by almost a body length from Ferreira, it's only Chung who's within a body length of the Brazilian in the early stages of this 100.
Gomes Santiago should win this heat very comfortably. You know, she's capable. We've seen a 114. I don't think she'll go that quick during preliminaries. I think she's going to try and save it a little bit more for the big race with Krauso tonight. Already she's out well ahead of everyone else, and this is only 2 laps. So as long as she stays ahead of everyone else, she doesn't really have anything to be worried about. She just has to keep it clean.
Keep it clean is precisely what Maria Gomes Santiago is doing. During the heats of this event, she's well over a body length in front of Chung and Ferreira, who will battle for second as it stands. Petrovickova and Veal find themselves finishing now. You finish in the top 3 in this heat, knowing there's only 5 competitors to come in the second heat. You know you've automatically qualified for the final. But it will be Maria Gomes Santiago very easy, 119.49, and it's Chung just ahead of Ferreira. They both touch in 121s. 121.95. Ferreira will be happy that she's gone sub 122. Petrovickova 4th and Veal 5th. The Brazilian quickest, sub 120.
And you see Gomes Santiago, she gets off to that early start, perfect streamline, gets into her stroke, touches first at the wall by about a body length, nothing to worry about, and then shuts it down during the second half. She swims to a comfortable 119.49, and she is capable of a lot more, which we know based on her sea time, and she's also been swimming remarkably well. So a good swim coming up for finals.
Gomes Santiago in 119 ahead of Chung and Ferreira, who both swim 121s. They're through to the final already in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB12. The second heat features the world record holder, the European champion, the world champion, Elena Kravtsov, going in 4th, silver medalist in Tokyo, the gold medalist in last time out. So, Kravtsov, how quick will she go in this heat? Is she going to go for it, or is she going to swim a more conservative race in the heat? Her compatriot Taliso Engel smashed the SB13 world record in the men's breaststroke over 100 meters in this session. Maybe she'll feed a little of that energy because she's looking really strong through the opening 50.
She is. She's out way by herself already, more than a body length ahead. She's out in 34.19. You know, Gomes Santiago just threw down a 119.49, so Krauso potentially looking to challenge that, but she doesn't need to do much here. She just needs to not disqualify and qualify for the final. And that is exactly what she's doing. She doesn't look like she's going out too hard, and she's just way ahead of everyone. She's all by herself at this point.
Completely ahead of the Australian Jenna Jones and Italy's Alessia Berra. Jenna Jones, who finished top 5 at the last World Championships, but Elena Kravtsov in her second of 2 events, she's off world record pace, but it's going to be quick, and she will qualify quickest in 1:13. That's a Paralympic Games record for Elena Kravtsov. Jones and Berra, who's going to touch second? It looks to be Jones just ahead. And it is Jones ahead of the Italian. Tokyo gold in the SB13 classification for Kravtsov. She's swimming SB12 in Paris. And she set a Paralympic Games record, breaking Maria Gomes Santiago's 1:14.89. Now has the Paralympic and world records, does Helena Kravtsov of Germany. Out in 34, so effectively 2.5 seconds quicker than Maria Gomes Santiago through the opening 50 from the heats.
Right, and I think that Kravtsov, I think she can go even quicker tonight. I mean, she looked like, of course, I mean, she was going quick, but I think she can go even faster when she's got Gomes Santiago right next to her and breathing down her neck throughout the 100. I mean, this was just a very solid swim. She went 1:13.19. Her world record is a 1:12.71, so more than half a second faster. But a very, very solid swim for prelims.
To take that. She went 1:13.38 to win the European Championship. She won the World Championships with a 1:13.13. The world record of 1:12.71. Kravtsov in Paralympic Games record 1:13.19 by over 10 seconds from Jenna Jones and Alessia Berra. Belkis Mota of Venezuela will get into the final with her 1:31. So too, Sophie Soon of Singapore. Ferreira qualifies 4th fastest. South Africa have yet to medal in the pool at Paris 2024. 2 heats to come in the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB13. Fatma Amilova is the world record holder, 1:09.57. The Paralympic Games record might be in danger if Redfern looks to go for it in the second heat. Colleen Young will go for United States in lane 4 for the first. Döhler, Zudzilova, Young, Chambers and Funke of South Africa. 5 competitors in the first heat, 5 in the second heat of the women's 100-meter breaststroke SB13. The Rio and Tokyo bronze medalist Colleen Young, though, going in lane 4. 2-time world champion, silver medalist in 2023. There's the 14-year-old Johanna Döhler of Germany on Paralympic Games debut, aiming for a first final at the Paralympic Games. Alongside her in 3 is Anastasia Zudzilova, neutral Paralympic athlete who former World Championship silver medalist. Colleen Young will go in 4. This is likely to be her last Paralympic Games, she says. She was the youngest athlete back in London. She was a 14-year-old,
wow.
Colleen Young. You remember being a 14-year-old on the Grand International stage. Chambers alongside her in 5, though, and Funke of South Africa will go in 6. Chambers was a bronze medalist at the last World Championships. Yeah.
Chambers, very versatile swimmer, right? We saw her with that unbelievable, the dominating of the 400. Now she's in the 100 breaststroke. It'd be great for her to get on the medal stand again.
Yeah, great silver in the IM. Had a decent breaststroke in that event. The women's 400 free champion Chambers going in 5 alongside Young in 4.
Take your marks.
Good start as well for Döhler, the 14-year-old of Germany. And she'll be looking to put down a new PB if she is to get herself into a first ever final at the Paralympic Games. Funke looking to go with a very high stroke rate, very high action as well. Shoots up out of the water. Young and Chambers alongside one another in front ahead of Zudzilova. Funke a little way back and Döhler now 5th.
Chambers just attacking this 100 and Colleen Young trying to catch her. Chambers already out very quick and we know that she's on her times and she's swimming remarkably well. They turn separated by only a 10th. Chambers with that slight lead and Young having a great turn now. She's going to take the lead during the second 50.
So Funke 4th, Zudzilova 3rd, Chambers and Young alongside one another, separated by 11/100ths of a second at the 50. How much will separate them at the wall? They look to be well out in front of anybody else. Zudzilova has got some closing speed, but there's far too much work for her to do. Chambers is pulling away from Young here. Twice a bronze medalist in this event at the Paralympic Games. Olivia Chambers, the 21-year-old, bronze at the World Championships, is going to win Heat 1 in a fairly comfortable 1:18.92 ahead of Young. It is going to be Sudzilova who touches third, Finke fourth. Wow. Chambers by nearly a second from Young. Young a little off her times.
Yeah.
But that's a good solid swim from Chambers.
Here's Chambers side by side with Young. Young, the more experienced swimmer in this race, but Chambers, who's having an unbelievable Paris 2024. Chambers went out for that early lead. Young had a great turn, but then Chambers, she swims with such confidence, and she took it during the second 50.
Top two for USA in Heat 1. Chambers ahead of Young. 1:18 from 1:19. Sudzilova 1:22. Finke will be hoping to make the final, depending on the times of the second heat, which features Redfern of Great Britain in 4. Feliu and Polo of Spain both get away well. Rebecca Redfern of Great Britain, the Tokyo silver medalist after silver in Rio as well, goes in lane 4. Rushin Narian, the 19-year-old who was 7th in Tokyo, already 2 medals at these games. And bear in mind, she surprised everybody at the European Championships to pop up victorious. She's laid down a 1:17 this season already, but is a little off the pace of Redfern in the early stages.
Redfern going out for the early lead. She's almost a body length ahead of Nerian, and she's going to touch first. She went 35.19, so very respectable first 50. Now all she needs to do is hang on to finish and put herself into one of those center lanes for tonight. You know, Young and Chambers just went, well, Chambers especially went very quick. Young, she posted a 1:19, so Redfern just needs to make sure she's, you know, within that range.
But for Redfern, this is her only individual event in Paris. It's an event that she's been allowed to focus on. The 2-time and reigning world champion, Narian, is coming back in the closing stages here. She's really quick over the entire 100. She goes past Polo. Ladritskaya will be finishing 4th, it seems, but Redfern takes it in 1:16 to qualify quickest. Narian in 1:19. She will go in lane 3 for the final. Chambers will go in lane 5. So Redfern ahead of Narian, with Polo 3rd. 1:16.40. Ooh, this final is going to be intriguing.
Yes. Redfern going to be in the center lane 4 in that 1:16.4, but Chambers and Nerian separated by a little more than a 10th. And then Colleen Young, the former bronze medalist, is going to be snapping for the 3rd.
Such good technique from Redfern as well. She's been allowed to focus on this event. Comes to the wall in 1:16.40. Quickest to qualify by 2.5 seconds. Becky Redfern of Great Britain. So Redfern ahead of Narian, ahead of Polo. Ladritskaya with a 1:21. So confirming the 8 finalists: Finke's in, Sudzilova's in, Ladritskaya, Polo, Young, Narian, Chambers, and Redfern. Ooh, that battle for the top 3 positions is going to be very tight. Redfern might just be the favorite, and it's not all done and dusted. 2 heats to come in the women's 50-meter freestyle S8. There are 3 S7 swimmers who swim across the heats, a class up. Alice Ty is the world record holder, 28.97. Madison Elliott's 29.73. The Paralympic Games record time. There are a few swimmers who've gone around that time coming into Paris 2024. Palais, Neufi, Zhu, Jiang, Tai, Wegerman and Kukundakwe of Uganda, who was the youngest athlete from any nation in any sport at Tokyo 2020, a youth ambassador for the International Paralympic Committee. Ugandan from Kampala at just 17 goes in lane 7. First Ugandan para swimmer to qualify for the Paralympic Games. Neufi, though, 5th in Tokyo in this event, 7th at the World Championships, but she missed the final of the 100 back, in which she was the defending champion and one of the favourites. One wonders what Neufi is going to do in the women's 50-metre freestyle. This is her opportunity for a comeback of sorts at Paris 2024. Alice Tai goes in 5. Now, she's been well off her world record mark, the 28.97, for some time now, but much of that has to do with the fact that Tai has struggled since her amputation to get off the blocks quickly, but her starts are improving. Wegerman is going to go in 6.
And Alice Tai has been swimming well. We saw such a commanding backstroke. She was silver in the 400-meter freestyle on day 7 of the competition, and then never discount Mallory Wegerman in the 50 free. She knows how to sprint, and she is good at it.
There is Kukundakwe, still only 17, largely a breaststroker, who swims out of Gator Swim Club in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. So Palais, Neufi, Zhu, Jiang, Tai, Wegerman, Kukundakwe. Zhu just 15, Tai in 5, and Jiang, a 32nd swimmer, the Asian Paragames champion, going in 4.
Take your marks.
Now, Wegerman and Palais are S7 swimmers, and they are swimming a class up in the S8 classifications. Kukundakwe gets off to a really good start here. Neufi's going strong as well in the early stages, but Jiang looks to be leading the way, with Tai chasing her down through 25 meters of the women's 50 freestyle.
Jiang got off to that great start, but look at Alice Tai just running down Jiang. They're off the world record, but Tai's stroke rate is marvelous here.
Well, she got off to a much better start, Alice Tai, and she's got to come to the wall first as well. Just outside 30 seconds, 30.52 seconds. Tai touches ahead of Jiang, ahead of 15-year-old Zhu. Wegerman got herself to the wall in 32.97 to touch 4th. Kukundakwe 5th ahead of Neufi, and Palais in 34.25 touches 7th. Tai ahead of Jiang and Zhu of People's Republic of China. Wegerman swimming a class up, 32.97.
And here's the start. Jiang got out to that amazing start. She flew off the blocks, but Alice Tai, talk about coming back. Her stroke rate, and then she comes and she's almost a body length ahead of Jiang, who was leading just about 20 meters ago. So she comes in at 30.52, still well off of her world record. And then Jiang, about a second later, 31.52.
Alice Tai looked very, very happy at the end of that heat. Looked very comfortable as well. 30.52, 31.52 by a second from Jiang. Zhu 3rd. Wegerman swimming a class up, touches 4th. 7 competitors to go in Heat 2 of the women's 50 free S8. Da Silva Ribeiro, Novina Palazzo, Geronimo De Rojo, Ishulova, Jin, and Mackenzie Cohen, who's an S7 swimmer, swimming a class up. The 28-year-old, a multiple Paralympic Games champion, 2 times a world champion in the S7 classification in the 50 free. She won S7 gold in Rio as well, did Cohen. But Geronimo De Rojo this year has been tough to beat. She's the 3-time and reigning world champion, Pan American Games gold medalist. Goes in 4 as one of 2 Brazilians in this second heat. Shulova, also a 30-second swimmer, the defending champion from Tokyo.
Take your marks.
Shulova Geronimo de Rojo get off really well alongside one another in 4 and 5. Ishulova's got that lovely streamline and underwater and actually comes up just in front of the Brazilian going in 4, but it's the Brazilian into a stroke who looks to be leading the way through 25 meters.
And she had to catch her balance for a little bit on there for the start, but already going very well. She got off the block nicely and into the stroke. She's taking a bit of a lead, yeah.
And here comes Jin. Jin's coming back at Ishulova, but Geronimo de Rojo will touch ahead of Ishulova. Jin does touch third ahead of Palazzo. Cohen 6th after Da Silva Ribeiro touched 5th, 7th for Novina of Croatia. Fast finish from Jin, Xiao Jin. Touched within 700ths of a second of Ishulova. But by over half a second, Geronimo de Rojo. 30.44 seconds. Some way off her best, but quickest qualifier across the 2 heats regardless.
And this was a quick heat, a little bit quicker than heat 1 with that 30.44. The Brazilian got off to a quick start and she was able to hold the lead despite a late charge by Jin there.
A tattoo of the Rio Paralympic Games on her left arm. She had to leave Rio 2016 early. She contracted mumps halfway through the competition. But Geronimo de Rojo, 30.44 seconds, will qualify quickest. She wins heat 2 ahead of Ishulova and Jin. Palazzo 4th. What that means is that Geronimo de Rojo is into the final quicker than Alice Tai. That'll be a good showdown. Ishulova, Jin, Jiang Chu, 3 from China. Then Palazzo and Wegerman, the S7 swimmer, is into the final as well in the S8 classification. One event to come, 2 heats to enjoy in the mixed 4x50 medley relay, 20 points. People's Republic of China are the world record holders at 2:27. They will go in the second heat, but there is no Paralympic Games record because this is the first time this event is being contested at the Paralympic Games. Turkey, Mexico, Ukraine, Brazil, and United States of America go in the first heat. There are 11 countries that go across the 2 heats. 3 will miss out on a place in the final. Now, I can tell you that among the Brazilian swimmers is Cecilia Geronimo de Rojo. I beg your pardon. Among the swimmers is Gabriel dos Santos Arrojo, Gabriel Zinho. He'll go for Brazil in 5. He's one of the 2 male swimmers. Now, what this means, 4x50 medley relay, each swimmer swims 1 length in a set stroke in the medley relay final across the 4 strokes. But 20 points means that the combination of the numbers of the swimmers' classes cannot add up to more than 20 points. So an S2 swimmer in Gabriel Zinho, for example, allows Vitória da Silva Ribeiro, an S8 swimmer, to be able to compete for Brazil with Lidia Vieira de Cruz and Roberto Alcalde Rodriguez to go as well. USA have Ellie Marks, S6, Morgan Ray, SB6, Abbas Karimi, S5, and Leanne Smith, an S3, who go. Ukraine have Denis Ostapchenko, S3, Anna Hontar is an SB5, S5 is Yaroslav Semenenko, and Veronika Korzhova is an S7 swimmer. She'll go last. That is Vitória da Silva Ribeiro. She'll swim the 3rd leg for Brazil. Turkey, led off by Soumaya Boyachi. Turgut Yaraman will swim the breaststroke leg. He's an SB7 swimmer. S5, Sevile Osterk will go, and then Umut Unlu, the S3 swimmer, will go 4th for Turkey. Mexico have Ruvalcaba, Tronco, Valle, and Gutierrez, Raul Gutierrez, for the heats. An S6 swimmer to finish, but Tronco is an SB2 swimmer, and Ruvalcaba, the S8, will look to give Mexico the lead through the backstroke leg. So getting underway, United States of America looking for an early lead through Ellie Marks, the S6 swimmer who swims backstroke. It's Sumer Buyachi of Turkey currently in second. It's Mexico at DNS for this heat.
Now you can't read too much into who has taken an early lead because the points have to add up to 20, but that leads to some different combinations. So right now in the water, Ellie Marks is leading with an S6, but that's because Araujo, who, you know, is phenomenal in his own class, is an S2, and it's hard for him to compete with someone like Ellie Marks. But then diving in for Brazil, you're going to see an SB5 go up against an SB6 from the United States. So as the classes change, the speeds of the swimmers just change dramatically.
Morgan Ray is leading by some way at the moment, the SB6 swimmer, but they finish with Abbas Karimi, an S5, and Leanne Smith, an S3 swimmer, who will swim the final leg. As it stands, Yaraman is looking really strong, but they've got Öztürk, the S5 swimmer, and Umut Unlu, the S3 swimmer, to close out their relay. So Turkey second at the wall behind USA as it stands. USA with Karimi in the pool.
And
in front by 10 odd meters.
Yep, and here's Anna Hontar from Ukraine. Now diving in from Ukraine is going to be Semenenko, which is a 5, and then they're going to finish with a 7. So when you look at the water, you know, it appears that the United States is untouchable, but that may not be the case because they have an S3 going in for their final leg.
So for the final leg, USA have Leanne Smith, S3 swimmer. Female S3 swimmer, lower classification. For Turkey, they've got a male S3 swimmer in Umut Unlu who will go. Brazil will finish with Lidia Vieira da Cruz, an S4 swimmer, and Ukraine have Veronika Korzheva, an S7 swimmer to finish. So USA are in front, but it's Ukraine who look to be pulling themselves into second. Very comfortable Korzheva looks at the moment, but USA have got the victory in Heat 1 wrapped up. Leanne Smith 10 meters ahead of Korzheva. She will come to the wall now in 2:35.81. Korzheva touches 2:43.22 for Ukraine, while Brazil threatening to close quicker. Umut Unlu will touch third, 2:50.21 and 2:51.48 for Brazil. So Brazil in danger of missing out on the final. So USA win Heat 1, 2:35.81. Really good at the top. Ellie Marks and Morgan Ray. Abbas Karimi kept the advantage, and Leanne Smith held on to it. He's had some really good relay legs, as Morgan Ray, for USA so far.
Yeah, and here you see just the variability in the swimmers from the different classifications. You saw Ellie Marks go out hard for the United States, solid swim, and Araujo next to her, who is an S2. And that early lead allowed the United States, they kept that lead the entire time. So it was a good strategy on their end, starting with the higher classes and ending with the lower classes.
So USA take it in 2:35 ahead of Ukraine, 2:43, 2:50 for Turkey, and Brazil 2:51. Greece, Japan, People's Republic of China, Spain, Italy, and Canada go as the 6 competing nations in the second heat of the 4x50 medley relay. 20 points. 2 male and 2 female swimmers, whose combined classes can't add up to more than 20 points, their class numbers. Greece with S4, SB4, S5, S5. That's Basabi of Canada. He'll swim the third leg, the S4 swimmer, but they'll finish with Reed Maxwell, an S8 swimmer. They lead off with Nikita Entz, S3, and Shelby Newkirk, the SB5 swimmer, will go second and swim the breaststroke leg. For Japan, Hinata will start. Joe in the pool for China. Lerida Maldonado for Spain. Bugiani will begin for Italy. Spain have gone with the S9 swimmer first up, so will be expected to lead at the end of the opening 50. And then have SB3 swimmer Luque, Ponce the S5, and Fernandez the S3 swimmer to finish. China, Zhou Liankang, S4. And then Yao Chuan and SB4 before Wang Jing'an and Zhang Yuyan, both S6 swimmers to finish.
Take your mark.
China are the world record holders in this event, and they will look to qualify very comfortably for the final. But Spain will be looking for an early lead here. It's a great start by Hinata of Japan. Driving with the legs, the S5 swimmer, doing the backstroke leg, but it is Lerida of Spain who gets into the front now, the female S9 swimmer who will give Spain the lead through the opening 50 meters ahead of Japan.
And that's exactly what the 9 needs to do, because the handoff is to an SB3 swimmer, so going to be considerably slower. That's a quick turnover, and now we're into the breaststroke leg. Spain is going to have to try to hang on, because the other swimmers that are in a higher classification are going to start to come back, and that's exactly what you're seeing from Japan. And then, of course, watch out for China. I mean, they're so dominant in these classifications. They could use 4 at 5s if they wanted to. They have the combination of the 4s and the 6s. There's a lot of swimmers there to choose from.
So Japan are looking to go in front here through Suzuki Takayuki, the breaststroke champion, going ahead of Miguel Luque now of Spain, but Spain still holding on. Italy are making up ground courtesy of SB4 swimmer Manuel Bortuzzo, who will hand off to Giulia Terzi, the S7 swimmer, for the third leg. China, though, have Wang Jing'an and then finish with Zhang Yuyan. You expect China to come back strong over the closing 100. It's Spain ahead of Japan, ahead of Italy in the 4x50 medley. 20 points as it stands.
And Terzi, you know, we weren't quite sure what to expect from her. She hadn't really been back for a super long time, but she has done nothing but exceed our expectations. I mean, in the 400, she was great. We saw her medal again on day 7, and now here she is bringing Italy back, trying to get them comfortably back, but China coming up for a solid third leg.
Yeah, watch China in the closing leg, because Zhang Yuyan is swimming the S6 swimmer, and only really Reid Maxwell of Canada, who are well off the mark at the moment, the swimmer that can touch her in the pool in the closing stages. China should take this by a fairly comfortable margin. Zhang Yuyan, world record holder, multiple champion, and she's just flying through the water at the moment. 25 meters to go, and China are ahead of both Japan and Spain now. But Italy making up ground on Spain.
Zhang Yuyan, though, is going to take this heat no problem. She just flew through Japan and Spain.
Brilliant for People's Republic of China. China take it. China take it ahead of Japan. Spain behind Italy. Greece still in the water. Civilecki making her way to the wall now and touches 5th. Canada will finish with Reid Maxwell. But People's Republic of China in 2:41.07 have taken the heat. Canada touch in 3:19.79. How do you say favorites in French? China, they might not have qualified quickest, but they have the option of changing the swimmers as well and putting together even faster combinations.
Yeah, and I think they will, because the United States went 2:35.81, but China went 2:41.0, but they do have other swimmers. I expect them to mix it up a little bit if possible. Zhang, though, with that powerful last leg there, really brought China back.
A lot of love. Smiles all round. So China-Japan finish 1-2. Just wait for the official confirmation of results. Sometimes there are disqualifications, particularly with the changeovers in the relays. As it stands, China ahead of Japan, ahead of Italy, with Spain 4th, both in Two 49s. Greece 5th, Canada 6th. China, the world record holders in 2:27. They win heat 2. They do not qualify quickest, but they will be in lane 5 for the final.
And I do think some of the countries are going to change up the order.
And they have the option of doing so. All you need effectively is 2 male and 2 female swimmers whose numbers for their classifications do not add up to more than 20 points. And China have several swimmers available to them. So too Italy. They touched 3rd in this heat. Behind Japan, Suzuki swam an excellent breaststroke leg for Japan. We await the official results, though. When it has this amount of wait time, so often that means there's a disqualification in the race. So the competitors who swam in the heats a little anxious about the results that have yet to pop up on the scoreboard. And what you don't want is a disqualification in the heats. It's genuinely take it conservatively at the changeovers in the heats.
Yeah.
That's one of the basics of the heats.
I mean, you don't want a disqualification anytime.
No.
But sometimes in the heats, you can get a little bit too excited, and an easy place to get dinged is on the changeover. So you want to be super careful, particularly in the mixed medley, in the mixed relays, where some swimmers are starting in the water, some outside of the water, some need assistance, some don't. You have to be extremely careful.
As things stand, it will be USA, Ukraine, Turkey and Brazil from the first heat that qualify for the final, and China, Japan, Italy and Spain who qualify from the second heat for the final. Hey, Tsapatakis is taking photos of everybody. Maybe on the big screen as well. Greece, having finished in 3:03.98, will not get into the final. After the legs by Stamatopoulou, Tsapatakis, Lerios and Tsivelecki. So we await the official results still. In the second heat of the mixed 4x50 medley relay, 20 points. As we wait for the results. Okay, the official results are up on the stadium scoreboard. And we can confirm them. People's Republic of China ahead of Japan, ahead of Italy, ahead of Spain. The top 4 advance to the final. Greece will be first reserves for the final. Let's confirm then the finalists. United States of America against People's Republic of China. They'll go in the center lanes. Ukraine, Japan, Italy, Spain, Turkey and Brazil will go in the final as well. Confirming those who advance. What a session it's been, Deb Gruen.
Yes.
Taliso Engel.
I know.
That world record in the men's 100 breast SB13. 1:01.
Do you think he'll break it? He might. He might go even quicker tonight. That would be amazing. But also, you have Chateau in the 100 freestyle for France. You have Didier in the 200-meter individual medley. Both of those swimmers will make the French crowd go wild. You have Ali Truitt in the 400 freestyle, who looks like she's going to take down that entire event, including world record holder Aurélie Rivard. And then, of course, you have the relays.
Never mind the men's 50 free S5, where you got Guo, Wang and Yuan, who will go as the 3 fastest qualifiers as China look to sweep for a 3rd time in the S5 classification at Paris 2024. Great action in the pool already. Well, that then is the end of a phenomenal preliminary session, day 8 of competition. Just a reminder, Great Britain remain top of the medal standings through 7 days of competition with their 14 golds. People's Republic of China second. They've got 13 golds in their tally of 31. Ukraine lead the overall medal standings with 32. They lie fourth with 7 golds as well, but 33 national Paralympic committees have claimed at least 1 medal through the first week of competition. 3 sessions of finals still to happen at the Paris Swimming Competition of Paris 2024. The end of the preliminary session on day 8 of competition. We look forward to your company and some captivating action in the final session on day 8. Whereas the many spectators who filed their way into the venue begin to file out of the venue, it is also time for us to say goodbye from Palais La Défense Arena. So for now, from us, it's au revoir.